I just wanted to throw that story out there. Are you guys ready for your first comic? Alright, your first comic coming to the stage. I assume she's a Jew. That's one reason why I like her as a person. I'm very happy to have her here. She's new in the Greenville comedy scene. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Melly Kazan!
Adam, I eat pork. I'm only Jewish. I'm excited to be here. Thanks for coming out for a comedy show. Will you all do a quick poll with me? All right, just give me a holler. If anybody has a younger sibling in the audience, just give me a shout. Yeah? Are you competitive with your younger siblings? Yeah. That was not very enthusiastic. You do not sound like you win the competitions. No? It's all right, we're in the same boat. My sister's going to school to be a doctor, and I went to college and now I'm doing this, so we know who our parents prefer. My mom's right there. She's just looking at me like, no, we love you. You are special in your own way. But my younger sister and I are very competitive, and I like to describe our relationship as the relationship between Minnesota and Wisconsin. Okay? Because if you listen to it, right, this is the Minnesota accent. But the Wisconsin accent kind of sounds like Minnesota, little sister with a lip. And they also have quite a history of competition. For example, when the United States first started, Minnesota made a lot of great cheese. They made a lot of great cheese. It was their dream, and they lived it. And then Wisconsin came in and said, oh, yeah. Well, I'm going to supply the most cheese in the entire United States to just show you that. And Minnesota was filled with a white hat rage, but she kept her cool. And she said, you know what, sis, that's good for you. I just want you to bring happy. I know they're bad puns, but I had to do it. Too cheesy for you? But at this point, you know, Minnesota decides, I'm going to branch out. I'm going to move away from cheese. And she decided to start her own football team. And they'd be called the Minnesota Vikings for a tough and powerful football team. And then Wisconsin came in and said, oh, yeah. Well, I'm going to start my own football team too. And our mascot is going to be cheese. And we're going to win way more games than your football team. And at this point, Minnesota lost it. And she said, oh my God, why do you have to copy everything I do? I just want to do my own thing. And Wisconsin said, oh yeah. Well, I don't copy everything you do. At least my state doesn't smell like a giant cow fart. But what neither one of them realized is that by always being in competition, they've always been pushing each other to be better. And both of their states smell like a giant cow fart. And their football teams aren't that great either. I'm looking at the Packers fan over here. But that same sister, she actually called me the other day, and she didn't say hello. She just said, Melly, thank you. And I said, for what? And she said, I've been getting a lot of dates. I said, I don't know what I have to do with that. She said, I learned a lot from you growing up, because I watched you try to flirt, and then I thought, great, now I know exactly what not to do. The worst thing is that she's like totally correct. I'm horrible at flirting. I was feeling better about it until I remembered I decided to have Invisalign adult braces installed. And I already look pretty young, but the Invisalign gives me a bit of a lift, so I'm just up in the club trying to get a date like, I promise I'm not 12. But do you want to make out though? Because the saliva levels in here are off charts. I also learned something fun about Invisalign recently. I went out to a nightclub with some friends, one of those cool ones that has a black light over the top. And I was feeling confident wearing my Invisalign. And I noticed that a lot of people were looking at me, like really studying me, but no one came over to say hi. So I'm thinking like, wow, I must be looking cute because a lot of people are too nervous to talk to me tonight. So my friends and I go to leave and I said, hey, before we go, maybe I should go say hi to one of those people who was checking me out. And my friend said, oh, we didn't want to tell you this, but your Invisalign glows under the black light. Yeah, it's so bright we can see you from anywhere in the club. So people were not checking me out. They were checking to see if my teeth were covered in plaque or blood. By the way, I did not get a date that night. But I wish I could blame the Invisalign, like that's why I'm so awkward. I've always been very awkward around people I find attractive. For some reason, when I became an adult and got out on my own, I thought that'd change and I'd become like super cool. Right? And then I realized that people who say things like super cool aren't gonna be. And one of my first flirting interactions as an adult on my own went just as bad as it could have gone. I walked into this coffee shop and I saw this guy who I talked to a couple times before and I thought was very hot. So I thought, okay, I'll do a flirt. Right? The moment I thought the phrase, do a flirt, I should have known it's not gonna go well. But I thought, I'll do a flirt, I'll wave and say hi. He'll see me, he'll remember me, and he'll fall in love like in all the romantic movies. So I go to wave and say hi, but I tripped. So my hi came out more of like, hi! And then he looks up at this girl who's just waving and falling at him. Rather than admitting I tripped, like a normal person, I just kind of turned it into a dance move. Just a little bit of this, right? And at this point, it's too late. I've committed to it, so I got into it a little bit. Because what is sexier than jazz hands when nobody asked for that? And I did this all the way out of the building. When I got outside, people were actually excited. They said, oh my gosh, is there a flash mob? I said, no. It was just me trying to talk to a boy. But that awkwardness is why I often wish I was a white-breasted female parrot. Have you guys heard about these parrots? No? Alright, so white-breasted female parrots vomit on the male when they're ready to mate. How cool would that be, right? Because first, birds had it made because the guys have to dance for the girls. But also, how much better would it be than doing a flirt if I could walk up to an attractive man and say like, dance for me, right? And then he's out there, he's doing his best, right? And then I say, stop! I will rabbit you now! I don't even let him clean up first. I've been Melon Gaze out. Thank you.
Your first international, well, another state, comic that is coming up tonight.